If we're really being honest with ourselves, we don't base the punishments that we choose to administer to students off of reasoning. We base it off of tradition. It's really back to this is how we've always done it. And how we've always done it is really based on our personal experience and the experience that we come into. That's our experience as students ourselves, and that's our experience as educators. If this is the way it's always been done, then this is the way it needs to be done, even if it's not working. One thing you hear a lot of people say is we need to bring corporal punishment back into schools. A lot of people that don't have corporal punishment in there as an option in their school think that corporal punishment will solve their problems. If I could give Johnny just 3 licks, I guarantee he'll never act up again. If we don't have that option, we can always say, what if? But what happens when you have that option? When I was a principal, I had that option. I was in a district that still administered corporal punishment. And I can confirm with firsthand knowledge that corporal punishment does not change behavior. Anybody who's administered corporal punishment can tell you they continuously paddle the same kids over and over and over. If you're continuously paddling the same kids over and over and over, more than likely it's not working. The pain is not changing their behavior. And every time you swing the paddle, all you're doing is inching your way closer and closer and closer to being on TV. A lot of people are not comfortable with parents giving corporal punishment to their kids, let alone a school. The real reason we think the punishments that we think are traditional are effective is because of our experience when we were kids. When I was a kid, they paddled us in school. You base whether or not something worked based off of your experience. So when I was a kid, if I got paddled at school, I also got a whooping at home. So yeah, when I get back to school, maybe throwing this paper airplane across the room is not a good idea because I don't think it's worth 2 whoopings. The problem with our revisionist history of corporal punishment is what happened after the fact? What did our parents do after the fact when they gave us a whooping? It wasn't about continuing to chastise you. It was more about building you back up as a person. You're better than that because a whooping is only going to create fear, and fear only goes so far. So it's not really what that parent did with the belt. It's what that parent did without the belt that really made that child change their behavior. And it's the same thing we have to look at with our schools. It's not about what you do when you administer the punishment. It's what you do after you administer the punishment. The conversation is more important than the actual punishment. The punishment needs to happen. The one thing I don't ever want anybody to get the picture of is I don't believe in punishment. I believe wholeheartedly that people need to be held accountable for their action. When I did restorative practices on my campus, kids still got detention, kids still got suspended. The only thing that's different is we did it differently. We focused on changing the behavior when they were in detention. We focused on changing the behavior when they were in ISS. Because really, what's the point of them sitting in there for hours doing busy work? How is that going to change their behavior? How is doing busy work going to change a student's behavior? We all know it's not. But again, that's putting us in that comfort zone that something happened. But ultimately, what we need to be focused on is how can we change the behavior of the student instead of just focusing on the tradition of when I was in school, this is what happened. Since I've been working in schools, this is what happened. Well, there's a lot of things in this country that have been tradition. We've only been able to make breakthroughs by going against tradition and actually doing what's best for people.